get into this mess. Now, let me tell you something. There's a three-legged stool they're pushing. It's the Kyoto scheme, which on its face was not binding, but our courts might just implement it. But with the Law of the Sea Treaty, which has a tribunal, which we will have to implement their rulings here, and we are supposedly going to ratify in Obama's first term in office, in fact, next year, and then the International Criminal Court, which we're told we're going to re-sign the Rome Statute, the treaty creating the International Criminal Court. Well, you get those three, as he planned, and you've got a a serious problem. You've got a very difficult problem to manage as a matter of law because our courts are increasingly radicalized, as you know, but increasingly international. And the swing vote on this issue, quite clearly, is Justice Kennedy. And he's on record saying we need to find out what those nice Europeans think our Constitution says before we implement it ourselves. So we've got a problem. You don't get involved in the treaties, but...
America is being swallowed by an unelected private offshore corporate government, the New World Order.
Well, let's just say there are people who have us in their sight, and they see us coming. Let me tell you something. Do you think Obama politically can afford to walk away from Copenhagen without some piece of paper in hand, even though it's going to be a transfer of wealth from here to there? Politically, knowing how politics works and his base in the media. No. So India and China and the rest of the world see him coming. They know when he goes over there on Friday, he has to give them whatever they want because he cannot leave empty-handed from Copenhagen in an embarrassment twice in 1 year in his first year in office. So they see him coming. We have an amateur, but an amateur with all the wrong instincts and a very dangerous agenda. And therefore, let me just say this. We're going to be as active as we possibly can be through the courts here, through CEI, with whatever our resources will allow. And I'm hoping some private entities will stand up for once and stop trying to cut a deal and fight back. And
that's another big point you made. All these big corporations, if they're not behind the swindling, they've said, okay, I'll join you, just don't rape me. And that's what the EPA said last week, as you know. They said, look, all you big corporations get in line or we're going to selectively enforce. I mean, they're literally like a mobster beating up the little grocery store owner. When are we going to grow a backbone to these parasites and say no?
It's even worse than window insurance. What they were saying was tapping the cage and saying, you better pay me to protect you from my lunatic friend here. Be ashamed if this thing got out of the cage. But the problem is they also said it that day later, we plan on doing both. No matter what you pass in Congress, we plan on trying to do what we can done to the Clean Air Act anyway. Let me tell you about a provision in these two cap-and-trade bills real quickly. They're 500 pages different in size, okay? They're not the same bill. But they have one provision that was identically drafted and buried in both. In the Senate bill, it's called Section 707. And what it says is every law in the United States Code shall, not may, shall be implemented by the President as a CO2 suppression law, a carbon dioxide suppression global warming law.
It's a carbon dictatorship.
That's the Department of Agriculture and Interior Permitting. That's the tax code. That's the Endangered Species Act. It's everything. There's no certainty for sale, and these suckers in business who keep saying, well, I just need certainty. I need to buy peace. I'm going to sue for peace. Good luck, buddy. You are selling us all out thinking you're getting yourself a deal, and you are not.
Yeah, there's no making a deal with these vampires. I mean, this is a greedy... I mean, folks, I'm not trying to demonize them. I've studied them. These are really hellish, horrible control freaks. I mean, at the end of the day, they aren't going to stop, are they?
No, look at the provisions they're putting in these bills. They want full and total control in the name of global warming. Well, hey, Alex, we're saving the planet. What about the children? You wouldn't want to be a denier. You wouldn't want to kill children, would you? I mean, they've practiced their routine. The problem is certainty is not for sale, and I've got all these businesses. I've had at least 2 CEOs say to me, well, Chris, I just need certainty. And they don't get it. Read the bill. I know it's 1,300 pages long, but somebody has to. Read the bill. Certainty is not for sale. You cannot sue for peace with these people. The day it goes into effect, you know what they want. More. And let me leave you with this. Did you know that nothing ever proposed cap-and-trade legislation, Kyoto, would, according to anybody, under any scenario or set of assumptions, detectably impact the climate? So it is not reasonable to conclude it's about the climate. It's only reasonable to conclude it's about what it would do. And you know what it would do, but it's not about what it wouldn't do. That's just not logical.
Unbelievable. We've got to have you back up just to break down the legislation quickly in the last minute we've got. Do you think that they're going to be able to ram through the cap-and-trade, I mean, not the treaty, but the cap-and-trade bill that's passed the House?
They're trying to shake people down, as you described with EPA. I don't think folks are buying it. I think there's a chance we'll get a one-line, the EPA Clean Air Act as written shall not be implemented this way, but the Dems will fight that tooth and nail. So the long answer is to add that to no, but it will not be without a struggle in the spring. They're going to try to slip it in, because you don't pass the biggest tax increase in American history late in an even-numbered, meaning election year.
And they just don't care how unpopular they are. There is that sense of urgency that they're rushing everything through. If we can hold them another 2 years, will their global carbon dictatorship be derailed permanently?
I think so, because you can't tell people the sky constantly is falling when the beaches and the sky are just where we left them.
Amazing. He's the author of Red Hot Lies, how global warming alarmists use threats, fraud, and deception to keep you misinformed. He's Christopher Horner, and CEI, Competitive Enterprise Institute, is the organization. I look forward to talking to you again in the future. Very impressive.
Thank you, Alex.
Infowars.com. Order DVDs. Get free T-shirts until Christmas. You can get free DVDs at Infowars.com. Call and ask about the free deals. 888-253-3139. Final hour straight ahead.
America's #1 source for independent talk radio for over a decade. We are the GCN Radio Network.
Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones, and I want to tell you about the Silver Lungs generator. Now you can produce pure and endless colloidal silver and deliver the solution directly into the bloodstream by breathing the solution through the lungs. The respiratory system is the first line of defense for airborne pathogens and viruses. The Silver Lungs generator infuses the respiratory system with your self-produced nano-silver solutions and also delivers the silver nanoparticles instantly into the bloodstream. With continued legislation threatening the sale of nano-silver products, you can now produce pure and endless colloidal silver with the Silver Lungs generator. Very easy to follow, step-by-step instructions are provided, making production fast and simple. Go to www.silverlungs.com today and learn more about the breakthrough technology of the Silver Lungs generator. That's www.silverlungs.com.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Calls today, but I never did it because Christopher Horner was so powerful last hour. Chuck Norris was on with us. Never heard him get that hardcore. In the second hour, we got Dr. Nils-Axel Mörner. He's been to Copenhagen and a bunch of these other events. So that is coming up. Will you guys get me a bigger bio on Dr. Nils-Axel Mörner or some of the articles he's been in? Thank you. So that is coming up. My head is just spinning right now. I mean, to talk to a top corporate lawyer, a lawyer for Congress, and to hear him agreeing, yes, these people want to kill you, that that's one of the main governing systems. But he said that's not all. You know, they're communist and they're zero growthers, but they're mainly just bankers who want your money. I mean, to consciously know it's the Rockefellers and Soros, but to have this high-powered lawyer, you know, they're breaking it down. And then to have articles like this out of New Scientist. Brain scans reveal who will keep their promises. And it talks about airports and parolees and everybody else having their brain scanned. I mean, they already proved the government's lie detectors of fraud that sent tens of thousands of innocent people to prison and hundreds of innocent people to their death with lethal injection in the electric chair, the gas chamber. And now they've just got new quack machines where they show you a picture of a dead body, and if the area of your brain lights up that thinks it's similar, though I've read the studies, the actual studies, people seen so many violent images on TV, most people already recognize something, or at first try to recognize it, and that area of the brain lights up, and they show the stupid jury, oh, look, the computer says that Tom Johnson here has seen this bank before, and he robbed it.